Alright guys, today we're talking about a big upcoming PlayStation exclusive, specifically who is writing the story for this title. We're talking about PlayStation 5 tech that is making it so file sizes are reduced on PlayStation 5 games, and we're seeing that in effect once again. We're talking about Guerrilla Games and how a new job listing seems to indicate they are planning on outsourcing Horizon to another studio for some type of Horizon game. And finally, we're going to be talking a little bit more about the return of Sly Cooper and Infamous. So before we dive into these topics, do me a favor, hit the like button to help the video out and show it your support. Really helps the videos out more than you know. And make sure you hit the subscribe button as well if you are new here to the channel. The first topic we're talking about has to do with a very big PlayStation 5 exclusive, one that I am very excited about, and I know many of you are as well, that being Marvel's Wolverine. So it says here, reading from PlayStation Lifestyle, not much has been said about Marvel's Wolverine since its surprise announcement back in September, but one little tidbit of information that has been sitting in plain sight was only just picked up by the internet over the weekend. The game's story lead is none other than Spec Ops The Line writer Walt Williams. This was first spotted by longtime insider and currently Untold Tales brand manager Shinobi602 on Twitter. Williams joined Insomniac Games in March of this year. Prior to this, he worked on Star Wars Squadrons and Star Wars Battlefront 2, among other titles. He spent nearly a decade at 2K Games between 2005 and 2014 in various writing roles. Marvel's Wolverine is in development exclusively for the PlayStation 5, and according to the creative director Brian Horton, it'll have a mature tone. Now, the reason why, some of you are probably wondering, why people are so excited about this and focusing on this, and there's a bunch of headlines being written about it. The reason why this has people so excited is because if you are familiar with Spec Ops The Line, again, written by Walt Williams here, this was a game that was heavily praised for its very dark and mature themes that it was tackling. In fact, it just was kind of ahead of its time in that way, where it was tackling stuff that you just really didn't see in most games. And anytime somebody talks about Spec Ops The Line, that's really why they're talking about it, is because of just how dark and how gritty the story really was. And I've heard nothing but great things about it, and I think that people are looking at that, and they're now looking at the Wolverine game. And what has the conversation been like surrounding Wolverine? It's been, is this going to be a mature game? Is it going to be like an M-rated game, something brutal, something dark, right? Like a darker tone game. We have Brian Horton coming out here saying it will be mature. And so it sounds like, with Walt Williams being the lead writer, we can expect a significantly dark tone to this Wolverine game, which gets me excited because Wolverine is a character that, in my opinion, really shines when, you're kind of tackling these darker themes and allowing them to exist and not really trying to hold back and kind of, make the character more, I guess you could say, in line with what a superhero traditionally is. And so I think that is a great sign, and I'm very eager to learn more about this game. So you guys can let me know down in the comments below, what do you think about the lead writer of Spec Ops The Line writing the story for Marvel's Wolverine? Let me know what your expectations are. The next topic we're talking about comes courtesy of Zubitech over on Twitter. He says, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy PS5 version is half the size of the PS4 version. The PS4 version weighs in at 60 gigabytes, and the PS5 version weighs in at 31 gigabytes. And he says Kraken compression is insane. And I have to admit that I was quite surprised to see this because actually, I'm quite surprised when it comes to Guardians of the Galaxy in general, because I've been hearing really good things about this game. It's been getting a lot of praise. Apparently, it's a great game, and it's just a solid single-player experience with no BS. And you love to hear that when it comes to new AAA game releases, because we're just seeing it seemingly less and less these days. So anytime I see a single-player AAA game that's just that and nothing more, I'm all for it. So maybe that's a game I'm going to have to pick up, and it's just really nice to know that if I do decide to pick it up and play it on PS5, it's only going to be 31 gigabytes. That's a pretty big disparity between the PS4 and PS5 version, and I did see that some people were complaining about how large the file size would be on PC as well. So it is a nice advantage to have if you are somebody who owns a PS5, something that definitely stands out at times like this. This is not the only game that has done something like this. We've been seeing this more and more, and that's why I think it's always worth pointing out and highlighting, because it is a tangible benefit with having a PS5 and, you know, downloading your games and installing them. So let me know down in the comments below if you plan to play Guardians of the Galaxy, and if so, let me know your thoughts on it only being 31 gigabytes to install on the PS5 compared to being 60 gigabytes on the PS4. The next topic we're talking about focuses on Guerrilla Games. This comes courtesy of the user Neo Stark over on the PS5 subreddit, because they posted this and I took a look at it. And the title of the thread that they put was, "It appears external game projects are in development at Guerrilla Games." And when you click on it, it gives you a pretty extensive job application. And I'm just going to read the basic overview here. And so it says, co-dev producer at Guerrilla. Guerrilla's franchise and community team aims to establish, maintain, and expand the Horizon brand. This includes looking after the community, marketing, public relations, licensing, and all franchise building aspects of the Horizon brand. The team also looks after the Guerrilla Studio brand and culture. As a co-dev producer at Guerrilla, you will help us expand the Horizon universe in new and exciting directions. In this role, you will be part of a specialized group overseeing externally produced game projects. You will function as an integral extension of both the internal and external development team, managing expectations, setting up reviews, and constantly looking for opportunities to improve efficiency, introduce new ideas, and evolve production and reporting techniques. You will look at projects holistically and monitor project progress across all disciplines, report on progress, and flag risks. In addition, you will be working with the publishing side to plan the go-to-market strategy. And so this is a pretty significant find that I'm going to be interested to see what comes of this, because they're making it very clear here that whoever is going to be hired for this position is going to be managing and overseeing externally produced game projects. Now, this is news to me, and it should be news to all of you, because the last time I checked, the only studio that was dealing with Horizon was Guerrilla Games, right? With Horizon Forbidden West and whatever else they may be working on. Now we are getting a clear indication that they're either in the process of already developing a game with another studio, or another studio is taking on a Horizon-like project, or they plan to do this, and that's why they're hiring for this position. They want to get somebody on board and then find a suitable partner that can take on Horizon. Now, this could be anything, you know, any type of game, but I do find this very interesting, because we know that Guerrilla already has a second AAA team that seems to be working on a shooter. You know, the longer we go without hearing or seeing anything about this game, I become a little bit more unsure of what exactly it is they're working on. But the point is, they have a second AAA team working on another project, and now they're looking to expand beyond that, beyond their own studio. I don't know. You guys can let me know down in the comments below what you make of this. What do you think this is going to lead to, and what do you think this means for some of Sony's other studios? Do you think we could start seeing some of Sony's other studios doing something like this? I think with the next topic we're going to cover, I think the answer to that is going to be yes. And so moving on to the final topic of this video, we're talking about the return of Sly Cooper and Infamous once again, because we have the pretty reliable insider, somebody with a pretty solid track record, that being Special Nick over on Twitter, once again reaffirming that, based off of his OG source, as it's being put here, as in his best source, his most reliable source, somebody said, "We need Sly Cooper 5, please." And so he shared an image of a conversation he had with his source where they said Infamous and Sly are returning. And so Special Nick turns around and says, "Yeah, I know," as in, like, I already know that. But then this source, this reliable source of Nick's, turn around and says that is 100%, basically saying that you can lock it in. Sony is in the process of bringing back Sly Cooper and Infamous to some extent. Now, this is extremely exciting for a lot of people if it does turn out to be true, because people have been asking Sony for a long time now, come on, please give us another Sly Cooper game. Please give us another Infamous game or an Infamous collection of some sort. I mean, I saw some people talking about this, and they're saying, look, the superhero craze is still real right now. This would be an ideal time for Sony to bring a game series back like Infamous, and just imagining what they could achieve with a PS5 exclusive Infamous. I mean, the sky's the limit there. And then also with Sly Cooper, you know, people hope to see a solid return of this character and this series. And the big question that I think we have to ask right now is, I don't think necessarily, you know, whether or not we can believe this, because I do think it's believable, right? I mean, we always have to take it with a grain of salt, but it seems likely to me that Sony would want to pursue this to an extent. The real question is, who's going to be developing it, right? Sometimes, depending on who's going to be tackling these projects, it can make people feel a little bit hesitant or potentially disappointed. A good example of that is we've been hearing from, I think, VGC and other sources that, yeah, Twisted Metal is coming back as well, and people are very excited about that. And then they hear that it's actually Lucid Games that's going to be doing it, and then suddenly the conversation gets distorted, where it's like some people are excited, but a lot of people are very trepidatious, and they're like, I don't know about that. I don't know if I wanted Twisted Metal from that studio in particular. So it'll be interesting to see if we see a very similar situation with Sly Cooper and Infamous, where it's not going to be Sucker Punch, you know, helming these projects, but maybe another studio. And, you know, this is something that we might start seeing more of. Maybe Sony getting more comfortable with kind of outsourcing their IP to other studios. And this could be a way for Sony to kind of test certain studios, right? To kind of pass the torch that is this specific IP to a studio to prove themselves. Can you make a good Infamous game? And then before you know it, they have a new partnership. They have another new Infamous game that people love, and maybe they can grow that. That's just speculation on my part, though, but let me know down in the comments below how excited you would be to hear about a new Infamous game or a new Sly Cooper game. That's going to do it for the video, guys. I hope you did enjoy it. Be sure to leave it a like, leave your thoughts down in the comments below, subscribe if you're new, hit the bell notification icon, and feel free to share the video out on top of all that. But until next time, guys, take care.